Good evening, Chelsea fans. Chels Daft here with your Chelsea news update, your transfer news update also, with some important stories to feature in today's video. You've got the Champions League draw, Ben Chilwell's first interview to the press today since joining Chelsea, an update on the futures of Tiemoue Bakayoko, Toni Rudiger, Kepa, and an interesting report on Callum Hudson-Odoi and the measures he's taking to force his way in on a permanent basis. All this in the video. Make sure you stay tuned, stay right to the end, like, subscribe. Let's get cracking. So first up then, the Champions League draw, and I'm happy. I have to say I'm really happy. I thought we got a good draw considering some of the teams we could have been paired with. We've come out in Group E. We play Seville, Krasnodar and Rennes, with Edouard Mendy having a quick return across to France to play the team he's just left, possibly in the Champions League. So I'm really happy with that draw. I've retweeted out some of the other groups that have been drawn as well. There's a group of death involving Man United, which is never a bad thing. Ben Chilwell gave his first press conference today since he joined the club back a few weeks ago, and he's revealed his childhood admiration for Frank Lampard and having a word with Ashley Cole as the inspiration is to making the decision to come and sign for Chelsea. Of Frank Lampard, he said this: "I used to enjoy watching him play. He was a great footballer, and that was obviously a big reason for me coming here, playing under someone I idolised, watched and respected growing up. Coming to Chelsea, as well as talking to the manager, a big factor for me was Ashley Cole, seeing the career he had, and I want to emulate that. To have someone like that who's played for Chelsea in England, it was important for me. I spoke to my agent because I was quite keen to meet him and get to know him, pick his brains about what Chelsea means to him as a club and how he reached the success he reached here. Like I said, I was quite keen to have a chat with Frank to find out stuff like that too. I'm going to work as hard as I can over the next few years to emulate what he's done here." I think it's clear to say that Ben Chilwell is pretty much nailed on first team starter now after what's happened with Marcos Alonso, Emerson being on the periphery. We wait and see what's going to happen to either of those two before the window closes on Monday, but it's good to see that Chilwell watched from afar and is keen to emulate two Chelsea heroes. So an update with Tiemoue Bakayoko, one of those players who's not been given a squad number this season, who's training away from the first team squad. It looks as though he could actually end up signing for PSG on loan for the season, with a view to maybe a permanent move at the end of that arrangement. It looks as though AC Milan were the front runners, with Monaco interested, just not being able to afford his wages. It now seems to be that PSG are more than willing to take him away from Chelsea. News on Toni Rudiger, and it's similar to the situation with Michy Batshuayi. And I'm talking about contracts. At the moment, Toni Rudiger's contract expires in 2022. If he goes out on loan this season and comes back beginning of next season, he'll have only 1 year left on his contract and would be in a strong position to say, I'm not going to sign a new deal. He can then talk to other clubs and he could leave and Chelsea miss out. Chelsea are more than happy, reportedly, to allow him to go out on loan to someone like Tottenham this season. However, he needs to sign a 1 year extension to his contract before he does it. Whether he agrees to doing so is yet to be seen, but it's similar to what happened with Michy Batshuayi. He would have come back with only a year left. Chelsea convinced him to sign a year's extension. He then went to Palace. Chelsea are protecting the investment they made to try and get value for money when they come back, so there's still going to be some value in a potential transfer fee away from the club, rather than lose them for less money or for nothing. Rudiger, is obvious something's happened. Him and Frank, he's not been involved in the 3 Premier League games and he's looking to leave. There's rumours that he's been offered with the likes of Ruben Loftus-Cheek in a deal possibly for Declan Rice. I've only seen rumours of that. I haven't seen anything that's been touted in the newspapers or the press, but it's interesting to see what's going to happen and whether Rudiger will agree to sign that contract. So to Kepa and the 25-year-old goalkeeper and the amount of money that Chelsea paid for him, 71 million. There's a report featured in The Sun today stating that Chelsea can't even find a club to take him on loan And if he doesn't go out on loan this season, we'll be forced to pay him £5 million for his contract over the course of the season to sit on the bench if Edouard Mendy is going to be the number one. Now that's interesting to see, and that's interesting because the report also states that Chelsea are unwilling to take a big hit on Kepa, and they're looking for around £60 million transfer fee to sell him. But of course, in the current financial climate, no one wants to pay that. So Chelsea look as though they can't get rid of Kepa, according to reports, and he's going to sit on the bench this season. I still think he'll put up a fight with Mendy, and hopefully Mendy will bring out the best in Kepa, and it'll be a fair fight between the two. Have to wait and see. So I just want to finish up on the situation with a report featured regarding Callum Hudson-Odoi. Now there is rumours that he's hired a personal trainer and is taking extra sessions outside and in addition to his club training with the rest of the Chelsea squad in order to try and win a regular first team spot with Frank Lampard this season. Now that is a real good move, I have to say. I've been saying for a while that Callum Hudson-Odoi needs to be involved for longer periods in games. He needs to deliver more of an end product on more of a consistent basis, and he's beginning to do that. He did that against West Brom. He played well. The other day against Spurs, he drifted out of the game after a good first half. He just needs to be more consistent for longer periods in games, and then he'll get there. But fair play to him. If he's voluntarily taking on additional workload to try and get himself into a better place physically, excellent. Great attitude from Callum Hudson-Odoi. And let's be honest, his attitude's been questioned a few times. Maybe it might just shut a few people up. So that's it from me for this particular video this evening. Let me know what you think about anything discussed in the video in the comments section below. Smash that like button for me, then subscribe to the channel, but make sure hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss when these videos come out, which is pretty much daily. Stay tuned for a new video coming out this evening, 9 PM, a video to discuss what's happened so far this season, reported pressure on Frank, and just to try and have a little bit of realism to follow. 9 PM tonight. Make sure you stay tuned. See you then.